Hi, Erin. Thank you so much for meeting with me today. I'm really excited to have this conversation. So, how are you feeling post kidney donation?
I'm feeling great. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So, just to familiarize everyone, I actually have met Aaron previously. I was his mentor um, as his through the National Kidney Donation Organization to just make sure that Aaron had all of his questions answered and so on. But could you just give us a review of how sort of the process and how you made a decision and the checks and the surgery and all of that? That would be super.
Well, I'm happy to make a long story long
All
because
right, I
it's
like
you
it. I
have to
like
start
it.
to really start at the beginning
Okay.
because you asked how I made the decision. So we're really starting at day one. So I've always wanted to live my life in a way to help others. I've always checked the organ donation box when I got my driver's license ever since I was a kid. But I didn't really know that living donation of kidneys was a thing. I'm not even really sure I was aware we had two kidneys to begin with, to be perfectly honest. Not really. I've never interested in medical school or inspected the own insides of my body that much. But what put it on my radar was Dylan Matthews' article in Vox. I'd heard of the effective altruism movement, and he had been aligned with them, and that's how he started Future Perfect at Vox to tell people about all the good things we could do in the world. It was just one of those things that struck me as a good idea as soon as I read it. I was like, oh, I should do that. Sort of a 40th birthday present to the world. Why don't I donate a kidney? That sounds like the perfect time. The day after the 2022 midterms, I had my full day of testing at Georgetown Hospital, where they do it is really almost the entire day you spend there and go through almost every department, and they check you out, they poke you, they prod you, they ask you all these questions, they get your type, they figure out exactly how you can be matched. And they said, great, we've got a date for you. It's February 14th. So that was a Valentine's Day gift to the world, was this kidney. The process was really simple. So I was just giving to anyone. So I actually don't know who received my kidney. They did tell me it was headed to Iowa. So my wife likes to joke that Iowa is losing its first in the nation caucus status, but they gained a kidney. So hopefully that makes up for it. Recovery was pretty smooth for me. It was about a week where I didn't feel so great, and I took completely off work. The second week, I went back to work half time. I just work at home remotely, so I have the luxury to do that. The surgeon did incredibly well. The incisions were small, clean. I barely even noticed them. Just yesterday, I hit my 6 week mark, so I can officially lift 10 pounds again. I may have cheated one or twice. Don't tell my wife. And towards the end, because I do feel like fantastic. I feel great. I feel completely normal. And in a few more weeks, I will be back to playing goalkeeper for my soccer team. Hopefully, I will get my starting spot back. I'll have to earn it. I think they'll welcome me back with open arms after donating kidney for the world. So that's the plan. So it went fantastically.
So happy about that. And you found out about it through Dylan, who found out about it through Josh Morrison, who founded Waitlist Zero, and he's my supervisor. So it's like this small world. My son also uh, found out about kidney donation through Dylan Matthews' video and article, and told me at 17 that he was going to donate his kidney to a stranger, and did so at 19. So Dylan Matthews, Josh Morrison, it's this beautiful chain of life that is, we've all given to strangers. And I think all of us are really happy with that decision.
How many people are waiting for kidneys right now?
In the United States, it's roughly 92,000. However, getting waitlisted is a challenge. And so far more people would benefit if we didn't have this kidney shortage. And then a lot of people don't even bother registering because the wait list is so long. Like it's 10 years long in California, for example. So the number is actually much higher, people who need kidneys, but the actual number on the wait list is around 92.
Right. And there are tons of people going around with two kidneys who, like me, might not even know they have two kidneys and have one to spare. And so I think it is really important for us to use social media and social networks and movements. I like to say that giving a kidney, I felt like I was putting the effective back into effective altruism, which is a movement that has come under some scrutiny recently for crypto and AI. And I'm much more of the give to good charities version of effective altruism. That's what speaks to me. And we have so many people with healthy kidneys, a spare one walking around, that there truly could be waitlist zero.
Yeah, we have two life jackets, right? So why keep one, two for ourselves and when 92,000 people plus are waiting? So I'm totally with you. One of my aims is to really dig into the effective altruism community and publicize this amazing opportunity to give of ourselves to save lives while we're giving to all of those beautiful give well charities as well. I think we can do both, right? There's no reason to
Yes.
those.
And I think there's even a third way. I'm willing, you're willing. So many people are willing to give up our second life jacket. I love that analogy, sort of the reverse of the Titanic. They had too few. We have more than enough to cover everyone on the wait list if folks would sign up. And so when you go to a doctor's office and you get a regular checkup and you get a clean bill of health, people should be made aware of these options. I'm glad of things like waitlist zero or the people who are working. I'm glad there are people whose day job it is to try to change this mentality. When I worked with you at the National Kidney Donation, NKDO, you really helped step me through.
Until 20 years ago, I think the medical community thought that anyone who would give their kidney to a stranger was a little bit of a kook. And they found out that we're actually more sane than the general population. So it was sort of leaping to that assumption. But I like the idea of promotion of it because, yeah, in a crowd of 1,000, I just gave a talk in front of 1,000 people about my donation. There might not be that many who are willing to do it. But if you're willing to give to a stranger, you can launch a chain. You can, save a life and bump someone else up on the wait list, a slot. It's just a marvelous way to give life. And so I'm with you. I think that not fully reimbursing donors for their costs and lost wages is another mistake that needs to be rectified. We just did that in New York State, and we're hoping to do that on the federal level with the Honor Our Living Donors Act, a new bill that we're presenting. But, there's a lot of stuff we can do because as it is, if every American was registered as a deceased donor, we wouldn't come close to solving the organ shortage. It really, the source of solving that shortage is through living donation. And living kidneys last twice as long as deceased donor kidneys. So people need on average 1.5 transplants over their lifetime, and they'll need fewer transplants and possibly no additional transplant with a living kidney. I think the longest lasting kidney I've read about has lasted 56 years. So, on average, it's 10 to 20, but if people take good care of them, they can get a lot of mileage out of the kidney. And my son's kidney was 19, given to a 21-year-old. I hope that's going to last decades.
There you go. It's going to break the record, that kidney.
Yeah, that would be beautiful. Speaking of breaking records, there's an 84-year-old who's about to donate a kidney. So a lot of people have approached me and said, I think I'm too old. And I've said, yeah, you could be 20 and unhealthy or 80 and healthy, right? So it depends on, what the inner scrutiny reveals, right? About how healthy we are.
Yeah, let the doctors make that call.
But I love the idea of, hey, you had a good physical. Would you consider this? For what I've seen is a lot of people in the medical community are hesitant about promoting living kidney donation. And yet 95% of people who donated said they would do it again if given the opportunity. So people who do it, I think, are for the most part happy with the decision because it is so incredibly rewarding to give a life. Why wait until we're dead for that, right? It's like,
absolutely. And I do think we can promote it. I think doctors' offices can do it. It will take time, it will take hard work, it will take movements, but there's no real barrier to that. It's just having people read articles that persuade them and shift their worldview.
yeah, because I think a lot of Hollywood and in different articles and things, they make kidney donation almost seem like a death sentence in some cases, like it's the hardest and worst possible thing. And that was my reaction when my son told me he wanted to give a kidney to a stranger. I thought, you're not going to live with long with one kidney. And I was quickly informed that it was as safe as giving birth, and living kidney donors last longer than the general population, so because we are healthier. So there are a lot of misconceptions that need to be clarified.
Obviously, saving someone's life is such a huge thing to do, but it didn't feel like it took that much. It's very cool. And I hope more people act on any inclination they have to go through it, because at least for me on the other side, it was a fantastic decision. like you said, I count me amongst the 95% who would do it again. And I just hope we can work through that huge backlog of a wait list. And with personal word of mouth and systematic change, we probably need both. Hopefully, we can get there.
What are the restrictions after donating?
In terms of what the doctors told me I shouldn't do, it's two things. One, I shouldn't smoke, which I'd never done anyway. No big deal. Two, I shouldn't become a bodybuilder. Like, darn, oh man, that was the third on my bucket list. I was so close to achieving my dream of becoming a bodybuilder, because of the protein shakes or whatnot, that supplements that bodybuilders take. It's too much for one kidney, so you're not supposed to do that. I feel very little opportunity cost with either of those things, I must say. So no big deal on that front.
And no Advil. I don't know if
Oh,
it
yes,
surprised you
that's
with
true.
that. No Advil. And the good substitute for that is tart cherry juice, which does the exact
Okay.
same thing as Advil without syrup.
Interesting. I just my substitute is Tylenol.
So
Um,
Tylenol's bad for livers. So I like my
oh,
liver a lot. So, but try it. A concentrated version, a concentrated form of tart cherry juice. I keep it in my fridge. I've used it when I had COVID, when I had RSV, when I had a crown put in my mouth. You know, it really does work as a pain reliever and anti-inflammatory. But you can
that's
use
interesting.
Tylenol, but I just love my liver enough not to do that.
Interesting. Interesting.
I think it
Yeah.
took me 4 tablespoons of tart cherry juice to get the crown pain away. But yeah, it's a remarkable thing and it tastes good, which is nice. So something to consider. And all right, well,
Right.
thank you so much, Erin. This was a great conversation. I appreciate it so much.